Om Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Param Om. Namaste. Okay. Uh, Verse 11, page 143. 1436? Yeah. Okay. So this verse 11, it was translated not so precisely because reading the commentary here above the verse, Swami says that Bharatarsava or Arjuna. So Bharatarsava Tartava is a title that Lord Krishna gave to Arjuna, okay? And and then he says in the commentary, where is the commentary? No, it's below the verse 11. He says that the commentary, it became clear to me only when I read it today. He says that is another title of Arjuna that means descendants of Bharata, which means Shrashtaha, you know? So Shrashtaha means the best, superior. So he was really just exalting Arjuna's qualifications, say you, the most courageous you, the most intelligent you, my best disciple, and things like that. Right? So he used this title, which means a superior student, a superior person. You are the greatest in all the family. So, Arjuna, of the strong, the verse should read, O Arjuna, the strongest of the strong, and say, Arjuna, you are the strongest of the strong. And then he says, because I read the commentaries and the thing above, the explanation with mix up of Sanskrit and something like that, is some English, and then he say, oh Arjuna, you are the strongest, you are the Bharastasaba, and then you are strong, you are the greatest, but I am the strength. He was, in the previous verse, he was saying that he was everything in creation, but he was using physical material objects to say, I am this, I am this, I am this. And now he's talking in terms of the intelligence of people, the strength of people, the courage of people. And then he say, you, Arjuna, you are the most strong, the most clever. Know that I am the strength you experience. I am the strength, and that my strength is free from desire and attachment. So I'm the most superior principle, and on top of that, I'm free from desire and attachment. Arjuna was there on the field, and he said, you are very powerful, you are very smart, you are the best disciple, and you are very strong, but you are suffering of desire and attachment. So know that although you are so great, the greatness is coming from me, and my greatness is free from desire and attachment. That's the main point, and the way these verses should be properly unfolded. And then Krishna goes and says, in all beings, I am the desire which is not opposed to Dharma. So he's indirectly saying, so you are desiring something which is opposed to Dharma. You are desiring to run away from the battlefield, okay? And not fulfilling your purpose, your swadharma. Know that this desire is absolutely in opposition to Dharma. On the other hand, the desire and the strength and the intelligence you enjoy, they all come from me. And my strength, my everything is free from desire and attachment. So it can be also, this is as I said in the last class, it's a famous verse because the nature of desire is a topic for many discussions, philosophical discussions, and so on, because if we say that the ultimate goal is freedom from desire, but then the scripture appears to contradict itself by saying that among the qualifications, the highest is desire for moksha. And that brings me to a guy I have been interacting with. I mentioned something about this guy. I decided to write him exposing a little bit his ignorance and his arrogance. He did not like very much, but that way maybe I got rid of him. Let's see if he's gonna come back. So he says the desire for moksha is a desire that's going to take the individual beyond the need to desire things, But moksha can be gained not by gaining something, because moksha is understanding of that which cannot be gained, because it's your intrinsic nature as limitless conscious existence. So moksha is understanding your true nature, and that takes desire, takes lots of desire, because it's very simple. It can be explained very simple, but as Ramji used to say, it's simple but not easy. Why? Because it's so subtle to discriminate consciousness from the mind and all its desires, So what is the desire for moksha? Is desire for putting an end of desire. So it's the desire to put an end to all desires, And that's the game here. When you understand that you are already the only reality, one without a second, therefore whole, full, and complete. And then what else are you going to desire? Why are you going to desire another birth, not knowing the circumstances and so on, So the desire for moksha is a desire to put an end to all desires. It's a sort of desire, but it's a very positive desire. Until it's clearly understood that it's a desire to understand your nature rather than accomplishing anything, it may appear that it is another element of stress. It's the last stressor until you understand that you are not desiring anything new. You're desiring just understanding that you're okay and complete. But even Arjuna, even Krishna is saying, in my inferior nature, I appear to have desires, but my desires are in total harmony with Dharma, or not opposite to Dharma. So it means to say that it's human to have desires. Without desires, we can't live. We don't have energy to get up and go about with our day. Desire is most fundamental energy that moves us, and we need to have our emotional center, well balanced with our thoughts, because it's what moves us. So, but this desire should not be binding. It should not be causing attachment. Only binding desires cause attachment. So what is a binding desire, for example? Well, can you answer me?
Everyone. Oh, sorry, Mark.
Go ahead. You.
Every desire to continue, for limitlessness, to live, that seems to me universal.
Yeah.
Be, desire to be.
That is the most binding, we could say, the desire to, but it's a very strong vasana, the vasana of not accepting the mortal nature of the physical body. It's a very profound desire in the unconscious mind, but it's born out of total ignorance, as we know, mis misidentification with the mortal body. Yeah, but
Yeah, and go ahead. Sorry.
that is a binding desire. Yeah, and you are putting it in the perspective of it's binding because it's the most profound vasana. So what else?
And it's also to me, it reflects the truth of limitlessness, because you wouldn't want that so fundamentally if you didn't feel the pinch from your true nature.
Yeah. Well, it may motivate you to discover and own your limitless, timeless nature. Yeah, that can be said. Huh? And since our true nature is limitless, so ignorantly it reflects because we take the body to be the self. We would like the body to be limitless as well. So I used to bring this perspective sometimes to say that that the refusal we have towards towards mortality and death of the body is because deep inside we feel that we are, we are eternal, you know. But since we are attached to the body as the body, and then we transfer this attachment which belongs to our true nature, we transfer to the body. So there are different ways we can see how it plays as a reflection, And but what is abiding desire from a different angle? If you have, Mark.
I was going to say it's a desire that we don't have control over, that we're impelled to commit whether we want to or not.
Yeah. So Mark is saying that it's a binding desire is a compulsive desire that you cannot stop. That is one aspect of a binding desire. Another aspect of a binding desire is desire for something without which I feel really bad. You understand? So, and then Krishna is saying, I am the desire which is not binding. And on top of being not binding, it's not opposed to them, because there are two things. It's abiding desire and the dharmic desire, and it may even be, I mean, almost invariably, the dharmic desire is abiding desire. Okay? Dharmic desire is abiding desire. So the goal here is to know how to navigate in the world moved by dharmic values, producing dharmic actions and pursuits and so on. No? And on top of pursuing dharmic goals in life, we should make sure that they are not binding, because binding is something like, no, I can live without my package of cigarettes every day. So without that, I'm miserable. Or I cannot live without my wife or my husband. Without that, I am destroyed. So meaning to say, I am attached and I am dependent. I have abiding attachment, which is another way to see abiding desire for something or someone. So no, not binding or unbinding desire is a desire that, okay, so if it comes, great. If it does not come, great. You know. So that is unbinding desire. Okay. If it comes, great. If it does not come, great. And so and Krishna says, I am in every one of you, in all beings, I am that desire which is not opposed to Dharma. And he did not say here, which is not binding as well. Meaning to say, I leave to all of my jivas, all living beings, the exercise of the liberal free will, so that they are free to decide to oppose Dharma or to live in harmony with Dharma. But I desire my people to live in harmony with Dharma. You understand? So his desire is definitely not in opposition to Dharma. And he wished that we all live moved by desire, which is totally conform to the laws and principles of the Creator. Yeah? So in other words, the goodness and the intelligence and the discrimination, of those, dharmic intelligent people, it all comes from me. Yeah. So I am the desire in all beings, which is in harmony with Dharma and which is non-binding. To be non-binding is the second step, because the first thing is for us is what? Is to learn Dharma and to live in harmony with Dharma and to have Dharmic desires. And then the second thing is not allow that even Dharmic desires become binding. Otherwise, it's going to create disturbance as well. Oh, it's a Dharmic desire. But if I fail, I'm going to feel really destroyed and bad and stressed, depressed, No, it should come from a certain degree or level of understanding that you do your best and you leave the results to Ishwara. Yeah. So here, Swamiji explains what I was saying, that Bharata is a title given to Arjuna. And they say, oh, Arjuna, you are the greatest. If Bhishma was there in the place of Arjuna as a student, Krishna would have said the same. Why? Because it means that, first of all, Bhishma chose Arjuna rather than choosing his army to conquer and own everything. But it was Krishna who chose Lord. It was Arjuna who chose Lord Krishna, not Bhishma. But Swami is saying if Bhishma was the best student because he chose Krishna and not his army, he would have praised Bhishma in any way, But here he presents a different twist and says every guru, a good guru, you remember Mark was telling me something about what's a guru you associate with that was humiliating someone. There was the notion of a busting guru. Ramji was elaborate a little bit because there was an old guru called Andre or something that was misleading, and his technique was to humiliate people, exposing one's flaws and shortfalls and so on. And then it's, no, I'm doing this because I'm busting your ego. Your ego is the problem. I need to break your ego. That was the concept. And here Krishna is saying that a good guru does not bust one's ego, much less publicly. A good guru praise the students, because if you praise the student will feel much more comfortable and is going to feel much more inspired, confident, yeah, inspired and confident. The student will feel fine. And then he said that's the psychology that a good teacher should keep in mind. Because a happy mind, a mind of a student who is confident and inspired, absorbs the teachings more easily. But a mind that's been crushed by one of these busting egos, guru, is going to be feeling bad. The low self-esteem is not a good thing. So therefore, good teachers use this technique. They say, you are great, you are wonderful, you are beautiful. Whether or not you are really great, the good guru should encourage the students. And he says, I am the strong, in all strong and smart and intelligent people, it all comes from me. I am the very strength, the very intelligence given to every one of you. Because of me, they enjoy that status, that beautiful status. It all comes from you. We begin seeing that all glory comes from Ishwara. Therefore, I am Balam. The Sara, the sense of basic principles, is Karana. I am the cause, is the Saraha of the Korea. Calls this Saram the essence, the effect. If you extend it, you can put it in any context. Strength is the essence of all strong people, and therefore I am the strength. Okay, so everything comes from Ishvara. We have to then make a huge effort to understand that not only the dharmic attitude and the intelligence and the beautiful discriminating mind and the strength, courage of people, but also the cruelty and the weakness. Everything comes from Ishvara, and that is where the mind gets a little bit confused to embrace. How can everything come from Ishvara? It's natural that Krishna is here, is trying to seduce all of us to begin this relationship, devotion relationship with Lord, and then later on with maturity. So you see, everything is me. The good, the bad, and the beautiful and the ugly, as they say. Now, Krishna wants to divide the strengths, and then Swami goes into another psychology here, which goes into it's in line with Dharma and the Dharma, align. So the strengths into people, there are a lot of good people, they have strengths, but a lot of bad, negative people have strengths as well. Okay, so the positive dharmic strengths in the dharmic people brings about positive effects, constructive things for society. Okay, it requires strength, commitment, and perseverance, consistency, and in the business level as well. People who succeed are the people who can go through the obstacles on the way, in the way. So the second strength is negative, it's brutal, it's dharmic, and it causes negative effects such as destruction, not only destruction to others, destruction to the environment, and destruction for the very person who is under the spell of this negative strength. Having divided strength into two, a constructive and destructive strength, in the Puranas, we will find all the Rakshasas, they are very powerful people. They are gods as well, with great power and strength. But they use that power destructively. And then he presents some of these destructive deities. And all of that is Ishvara as well. What is the difference? One is constructive and the other is destructive. And then Krishna says, know that, the constructive strength comes from me. And then anybody would, scratch their head and say, and the destructive strength comes from whom?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the obvious question.
And then he would say what? It comes from you, my beloved jivas. So I'm not alone in this game. I provide sattva guna, but to structure this field of transaction, I need to bring in rajas and tamas, and that is going to make it more difficult for you to discriminate dharma from adharma, and then you can develop destructive strengths on your own. But fundamentally, why Ishvara is fundamentally the constructive and not destructive, okay? Because Ishvara is total intelligence, total clarity, total knowledge. He's pure sattva guna, which is responsible for knowledge and clarity, clarity between, between what elevates the jivas and what does not. He says, I am the constructive strength in all, strong people. And we can say that I am also the destructive strength in Duryodhana and his people. But I'm not really responsible for that, because when I deliver the free will to my jiva, such as when I delivered that to Duryodhana, I just let it, I just pass the ball to him, to his court. The ball is in his court. Now you have a free will. Okay, so but I was born with so much ignorance and negative tendencies. Yes, but that's because the guy who came behind you left that heritage to you, and that is also your soul. So that is the understanding according to our scripture. What is the definition of constructive strength? A dharmic, positive strength. Krishna beautifully defines it is free from binding desires, and the binding desires, usually they are Adamic desires. Adamic desires are selfish desires. Dharmic desires is unselfish desires for things and events that benefits most people and the environment as well. Not only about me. So dharmic strength, Krishna defines kama, raga, strength which is not backed by selfish desires. Okay. When he says not in opposition to dharma. Only when selfishness dominates the mind, the strength will become destructive. You see? It's totally up to every jiva. If we wouldn't have free will, we would be exactly like the other animals, totally innocent, not subject to the laws of karma. But we have the free will. And if we develop selfish attitude, and then we're gonna almost impossible not to develop binding Adamic desires, because someone who is very selfish, they want so much something for him or for his or her closest associate, that when the desire is so big, people start cutting corners, in an American expression, and they start violating Dharma. And then the person may be very powerful, but it will become destructive. To accomplish one's desires, I have to destroy others. I have to control others, manipulate others, suppress others. That is the thing. When you are under a pressure of a strong binding Adamic vasana, Now, when you are under a very strong Adamic or binding vasana, so a binding vasana, this is a different twist here. I can have a desire that is not really selfish, but it's so powerful and binding, Let's try to create an example here. I have good intentions and I desire certain situation and this and that, okay, because deep inside I have good intentions. But because this is abiding desire, I may even break the rules and the laws in order to get to that position or to get what I want, even though I may have good intentions. I know I'm going to do good with it. It's like the concept of the end justifies the means. You understand?
Mm.
No? So no, I have good intention, and then I can just I can do horrible things because ultimately it's going to be justified. I can go anywhere and destroy nations and this and that, but something like that. So it's very subtle. All this concept about dharmic desires, and on top of that, it must be non-binding. So it's a strength which is free from, not polluted by kama and raga. Okay, this is a strong. What is different between kama and raga? Kama is desire with regard to an object which is not yet acquired by me. When this watch is in the shop, it's not mine. Yeah, most probably he was referring to his watch, but I desire something that is not yet with me. This is very nice. It's a concept, that there are two kinds of desire. One is desire to gain something, and the other is desire to maintain. When you want to maintain, and then it means is an attachment, which is another way to look into desire to keep. So he says, so I went there, I want to buy the watch, I had a desire for the watch, I bought it, no problem. And then it's convert to raga. I don't want anybody to steal my watch. I don't want my watch to fall and break. If my watch falls and breaks, I will feel devastated and so on. So attachment kicked in. And that is the other side, kamaha and raga. Therefore, desire and attachment, in other words, desire to gain or accomplished, and desire to maintain that object or that accomplishment is going to poison the mind. Okay, only when the desire is binding, very, very binding. The binding desires produce attachment and produce irritation and anger or depression every time you don't gain that. Okay, it produces also fear of losing it. So it's a toxin that spoils the play. So that strength should be free from desire and attachment, and that is the strength, constructive strength that Krishna was saying that comes from him. I am this pure strength. Not only that, in the second line he says, Arjuna, I am in the form of kama, the desire also in people who have desires. I am in the form of kama as well, in the people with desires, in the desire-ridden people. What is ridden people?
Ridden means
Okay.
holding.
Yeah, people carried by.
They've got very strong desire. They're ridden with desires.
Okay. I am the very desire that moves people. And then Swami comes and says, it seems confusing. The previous line, Krishna said, I am the strength which is not polluted by desire. So in the previous line, desire was present as impurity. And that is why he said strength must be free from impurity. Now in the second line, Krishna is saying, I am the desire also in people. The desire in people is my desire. That means that what I am, impurity as well, that I am of the nature of impurity as well. The previous line, desire is impure. Now it appears that Krishna is saying that all desires, including the ones which are impure, come from me. how to resolve this problem. So we have divided the strengths in two types. We need to remember desires have two types. Desires are also called dharmic desire or kama, and the other is a dharmic desires, which will help me grow spiritually constructive desires and those desires which will pull me down spiritually and so on. So if I have a desire to do some service to others and so on, or if I have desires to fulfill my duty in total observance of Dharma, if I have the desire to help people or attenuate their suffering, they are also desire. But these desires will help me to grow positively. Why? Because they are not selfish, okay? So in general, that's the notion that Karma Yoga is selfless service. In some Vedanta traditions, it's basically defined in a simple way as Karma Yoga is selfless service, which is not far away from the truth. But it's only one aspect that most people can understand. But when we come to Vedanta in our Sampradaya, things are a little bit more present in a more complex way. It's not only a question of doing charity, selfless work, but any work, because if your karma does not allow you somehow going around the world doing charity or selfless work, you can dedicate your actions to the field by anything you are doing. So you do with a certain attitude, then from a certain knowledge, and then with a certain fragrance of devotion, appreciation, and that's going to touch the heart of people around as well. Okay, so that is service. Service is to serve the Lord with our attitude, and genuinely dedicated to Shwara, respecting, loving people as they are, and so on, which does not mean really going around doing selfless work or helping the people in need. But some people believe in a more simplistic way that this Karma Yoga is just selfless work. So again, it's just one aspect, a simpler aspect of what Karma Yoga is. Karma Yoga is really much more than that. And what to say about desire for moksha? So desire for moksha would come to say that it's an impure desire or it's a pure desire. So that is the first lesson in spiritual class should be what? Do not have desire for moksha, because desire is bad, and you cannot desire moksha for everybody. If you have a desire that everybody should have moksha, otherwise you feel guilt. There are some concepts in the spiritual world, marketplace, circles and so on, in the Buddhism that I'm not going to take moksha unless I take everyone with me. You know that, no? So you cannot transfer your self-knowledge and your sense of limitless freedom to anybody else, but you can allow that a certain fragrance transpires while you are in contact with people. They may ask you what you're doing, what happened to you, why you are more gracious, why you're more loving, and so on. So how about the desire for moksha? A lot of people in in some other spiritual religious circles, they think that Vedantins are the most egoist people, because they say like, now this is inner work, I need to grow, and I need to do my work, and I don't care for anything anymore. Vedanta does not say that you should abandon your roles, or anything. but it is a fact that you have to choose and pick your association because you need to hold whatsoever time and energy you have at your disposal to do this Shravanam Manana Nidya. It appears to be the most egoic thing. You only think about your moksha, your self-knowledge, And some Vedantis fall for that and they feel a bit guilty. Okay. So desire for moksha is a desire that is going to take most, if not all, of our energy, and the energy is desire. So you're gonna lose desire to interact with people, and just for the sake of interaction or participating in social events, all of that, you begin developing a certain allergic reaction against samsaris. So if moksha is a bad desire, why I should do all this Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana? So when we talk about the fourfold qualifications for liberation, the fourth qualification is desire for moksha. It's not only a desire for moksha, but it's intense, burning desire, meaning to say, is desire this, and only this. Is a desire that has consumed all other desires. But it involves desire for all activities that conduce us to the spiritual purification that allows us to have success in our inquiry, in our investigation. So the desire for moksha implies desire for proper values of life, desire for my sadhana, okay? So, for example, our sadhana, we are more into the Yana Yoga. So our sadhana is Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. I remembered when I got in contact with Vedanta, there was nothing I want more than to watch the videos and to listen to the teaching, So you were just like obsessed with that, fascinated with that. So your life changed. The first thing came to my mind was to walk away from the restaurant, not to have anything else disturbing me, occupying my mind. So all these desires, desire for Gita, desire for Shravana, desire for Manana, those all are dharmic or adharmic desires. Of course they are dharmic. They are not adharmic, but they are not desire. They do not involve other people. It's all about you. Self-knowledge require that we concentrate all the energy into ourselves, You cannot help people. This is another trap. We believe that we can help people. We cannot help people. We can just share our lives with people, hoping that somehow whatever is positive in us can touch the other, and impact positively the other as well, We cannot impose our spiritual wisdom on anybody, if they don't ask for it. And even when they ask for this guy, I was talking to you about this guy that I find I was saying today again, I finally decided to write him. I made it public without revealing his name, and then he revealed his name, and then he made some commentary and so on. And why I'm saying that?
Selfishness.
Yeah, you can you hope that you hope to be able to help people. When I see someone like this guy who has been somehow from a very, very long distance, large distance, in contact with me, never participated by my class, just choose and pick small fragments here and there, and he believes that he's my student and he's part of the sampradaya and so on. And now he has moksha. And how can I help someone? I thought one more time, I thought when I was exchanging things with him after he got a little bit offended. And then I calmed him down. I massaged his ego a little bit. And then I told him, so you have to understand that self-recognition is not moksha. And then he said, well, I don't know about that. I don't understand this. But I would be interested to understand that. He always puts his things like that. And then I say, well, since you don't come to the classes, if you're interested, I could make a session with you on Zoom, and then I could explain those things to you. It would be of great help to you. And then he says, I am interested. You see, I mean, how can I help someone if someone does not have a proper attitude? I'm offering something, and like in the past, he always puts as if it's my interest to help him, if I need to help him,
Okay.
It's like, I'm not sure about you helping me, but it's okay. I told him, so I'm here, so let's do it. We can do this if you're interested. He just say, I am interested. And he left it there. He's thinking that he was I should go after him and say, oh, Kaylin, when? So tell me the best day, the best time, that we can do that. I will,
Yeah, that could be
I mean,
interest.
no, he's not really interested. Arrogance is always there. How can you help someone? We cannot help anybody. The person has to be mature and purified with a proper attitude towards the teacher and the scripture, and then you leave everything else to Shwara, because you never know if the person is going to be really effective, helped or not. Shankaracharya says in Taittiriya, even desire for money can be a wonderful desire, provided I have this money, and they're used for good purpose. And we see a lot of these billionaires nowadays, they are showing up as if they are heroes, that they are going to do this and go there. How can you have billions of dollars and never share it with anybody, And people believe that they are good people. I keep all the billions and trillions only for me. Then money is being used for negative purpose. But money, desire for money, was be good. The beautiful thing about the Indian culture, from what I heard from Swamiji here and there, is some, or even Dayananda, I think, that the business people, the commercial people, they know that some of the money they make, they should go back into the Vedic culture. Maybe it has changed by now, but the business people, the richer people that have been sustaining the sampradaya, the ashrams and everything, because nobody there makes money. The money has to come from where? The government does not care.
No.
The commercial and the business people, I heard in the past, are the one who was sustaining. They give money to this institution that feeds them and helps them with large donations and so on. But if I want to make a lot of money and I never share to help others, to help society, in Taittiriya, Shankaracharya beautifully say, money can be used for noble activities. He said it, but he said it in Sanskrit. Money can be used for noble activities. Noble activities will be used for purification. Beautiful. Purification will be useful for knowledge. The purified mind absorbs the knowledge more easily, more clearly. Knowledge will be useful for liberation. Wow, beautiful. Thus, even desire for money can be a dharmic itcha. What is itcha, Lynn?
It's just desire.
Oh.
Another.
Can be a dharmic desire. Krishna says, such a dharmic desire I am. And therefore he says, Aham kamaha asmi. So I'm also of the nature of desire. What time of desire? The noble desire in people are my desire. The Adamic desire in people, they come from my jivas that somehow fell spiritually due to selfishness, selfishness. How do you say?
Selflessness.
Selflessness. Why it seems to be so difficult to find beautiful people, né? People with real good heart, people who want to share and to love and respect others and the environment. I don't know. The scripture says that it's Kali Yuga, but I have a hard time to wrap my mind about these yugas, you know?
I believe it.
So the verse 12, all the states of mind which are affected by Sattva Guna, Rajaguna, and Tamaguna, know all of them to be born of me alone. I am not dependent on them, but they are dependent on me. So now this can be translated to the yani. All the states of mind which are states influence for more or less of different configurations of the three gunas, you know, Raja, and Sattva, Raja, and Tama. All the states, you know, all of them were born of me and me alone, consciousness. And then he says, I am not dependent on these states. The states are dependent on me. So the yani is the one who does not care about his or her states of mind. Okay? He knows that I am the adhistana, the ground, the base, on which the gunas play, producing different states. The states of mind are objects. They belong to Ishvara. The play of these energies belong to Maya Ishvara. Of course, the responsibility of every jiva is to purify, and purification means to say conversion of Tamaguna into Rajaguna, and Sattvaguna. As we know, cultivating and maintaining a sattvic mind is going to be conducive to purification and knowledge. So all of this is born of me. But I, as consciousness, I do not depend on my states of mind.
No.
Just imagine that. I don't depend on my state of mind. But the funny thing is that the person who came to the understanding of its free and independent nature, even from the most subtle of objects, which is my mental states, somehow the person who made that viveka and discriminates between I consciousness and I, these beautiful states or less beautiful, ugly states, the person who does this discrimination realizes one's independence in regards to one's states, you know, it's begin to experience nice mental states, the fluctuation of mental states that, you know, oh, now I feel bad and depressed, and oh, now I feel high, oh, now I feel in the... These things, they just go like that, you know. Why? Because knowledge is always good. Once you know your true nature, you don't feed those rajas and tamas. You just hold your sattva guna, because sattva guna is responsible for holding the knowledge. So if you forget that, and then you're going to feed rajaguna and tamaguna, and going to experience positive and negative desires, or desires and attachments which disturb the mind, producing suffering, emotional suffering. So I'm not dependent on the states of minds. The states of mind depend on me. Isn't it beautiful? I just experienced that here now, this afternoon, after having eaten. I'm a little bit slow. Are you noticing it or not?
I am noticing it, yeah.
You know, so I'm a little bit more tired and
It's very warm in here as
Huh?
well. It's very warm in here as well.
yeah, it's warm, but it's the food, is the digester. But sometimes when I like this, I slow down and the words come a little bit more less frenetic.
But Arlindo, the generosity and gentleness of your teaching is still here.
Thank you. Thank you. Much appreciated. Until now, Lord Krishna talked about the external world, which is a product of the Lord. Therefore, which is a manifestation of the Lord. Now, Krishna points out not only the external world, but he says that I am even all the inner states of mind, of all jivas. The internal mental world, all of Jesus, me and me alone. Inner world of Vritti are called, and these thoughts are also product of me, Ishvara, only. And according to the scriptures, even thoughts are inert. The states of mind are inert. Everything that is an object of experience is by nature inert, but it's so subtle when we go into the mental world, of object, of experience. Even thought, feelings, emotions, or states are objects, and they are inert by nature. They appear to be sentient because of the pervasion of consciousness, which gives us the impression that the mind is self-contained with sentience. This is a big one. Is the mind self-contained with sentience, or sentience comes from consciousness, which is a free and independent principle, such as the light revealing the hand and any other object in our environment. In the mind, there are two parts. One part is changing thoughts, feelings, emotions, and states. In the other part, there is the changeless consciousness, the ground on which the gunas are going to impact the subtle body, producing different mental states. One belongs to consciousness, prakriti, and the thoughts, feeling, emotions, and states belong to the gunas of Maya, aparaprakriti. But the problem is the thought and the consciousness are so intimately intertwined that we are not able, it's difficult to discriminate them. So the whole thing about the Viveka discrimination is to take us to discriminate the subtle, because to go to that level of Viveka, we need to have a very subtle and purified intellect. But yet the intellect being an instrument, intellect is not consciousness, is inert, but it's purified in a way that it produces a human consciousness or reflected consciousness that can be recognized as something other than the reflecting medium. You understand? So, but it's so subtle. And unless someone has began practicing discrimination by discriminate Dharma from a Dharma, and people do not like that, they want to go direct to discriminate the subtle intellect from consciousness. In most cases, they don't have a subtle, purified intellect. The intellect has to be so purified, so that it can discriminate and just say to itself, you, this instrument of discrimination, you are not it. You understand? What you are is free, limitless consciousness. But you are the only instrument on which consciousness allows this realization. Okay. Sylvia,
Yes,
did you have lunch?
of course.
Did you feel a little,
It's like at
a little
now
more
it's 3
confident?
o'clock.
Oh, you're good.
No, a little bit, yes.
A little
In
bit.
the after,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. We meet again this coming Monday. Okay, Lynn? Old schedule. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishate Om Shanti 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 Om. Thank you. Let's go and jump into that river
Yeah.
to wake up.
Are you trying to make me jealous? Thank you, Arlindo.
You can come next year.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Oh,
That was good satsang. It was good.